Hello everyone, welcome to the Buzz the Prey Manga. Today we continue the latest Global Freeze chapter, rewritten and edited by me in English for a smooth reading experience. All visuals and story flow are personally edited to give you the best manga style storytelling. Support the original creator by checking the official manga. So let's dive right into the today's chapter.
Chapter 2675 The Dragon Clan's Guidance 1. When discussing the history of the universe and the development of various civilizations on Planet D, Bai Longzi knew them like the back of his hand. After all, he had a being at the level of a living being by his side. Moreover, the dragon race has maintained its civilization uninterrupted for hundreds of millions of years, and its strength has remained at a top level. Some civilizations push technology to its limits, some civilizations revere the spirit, and some civilizations burn briefly in chaos before extinguishing in silence. Every civilization has its own path and its own different outcomes. But none of these results can be simply categorized as right or wrong. He raised his hand and pointed to the deep, bottomless sky above. Even we dragons dare not say that we have seen through all the answers. If you absolutely must ask me how to choose, all I can say is, the ultimate development, the civilization that can truly go on, will not be based on technology, but on people. Zhang Yi frowned slightly. People-oriented? But in my opinion, humans are too fragile. Short lifespan, weak body, and large mood swings. Without the help of civilization and technology, humanity is not even as good as a high-level alien beast in the ecological niche of the universe. You're right. Bai Longzi nodded. On a purely material level, humanity is utterly vulnerable. But the essence of the universe has never been just matter. Matter will be annihilated, stars will be extinguished, and space-time will collapse. The only thing that truly comes close to eternity is longing. The will, thoughts, emotions, and choices of countless lives coming together. That kind of directional longing. He looked at his palms as if he were looking at some light piercing through his flesh. You can use to represent telekinesis. It can also be called mental imagery or will field. The names are not repeated. The heavy, that kind of thing, is the true essence of the universe. Technology tools. Mechanical exoskeleton. We can help you go further, see higher, and even stand shoulder to shoulder with the stars. But what if one day, the tools turn out to be the masters? If civilization entrusts all value to cold, hard computing power and efficiency, it is tantamount to actively severing its connection with the essence of the universe. Such a civilization, even if it is powerful for a time, will eventually lose its qualification in a higher level of competition. Zhang Yi fell silent. This wasn't the first time he'd heard something like that. Similar warnings were mentioned in some fragmented records left by the Ihan tribe, but he did not have the same personal experience as he does now. So that's why your dragon race deliberately suppresses the development of mechanical life forms? Keep only the technologies that truly improve lives and leave the war to ourselves? That's part of the reason. Bai Longzi readily admitted it. And part of it because we've seen what mechanical civilization looks like when it goes out of control. Then you don't want to see my scenes right now. He didn't elaborate, but in that instant, the shadow that flashed deep in his eyes made Zhang Yi's heart tighten slightly. After a moment of silence, Zhang Yi changed the subject. Then let me ask a more practical question. The ancient civilizations surrounding the present-day Huashu Kingdom have a very subtle attitude toward us. They say nice things on the surface, but everyone knows what they're really up to behind the scenes. What if one day we really decide to go to war with them? Zhang Yi asked the question that had been nagging at him. He was almost certain that a war would inevitably break out between the ancient civilizations in the surrounding region in the future. But he must consider the consequences. Bai Longzi did not answer immediately. He looked up into the distance. In the depths of that void, several faint lights and shadows intertwined, like a colossal beast slowly moving in the far distance. You think that what's being targeted at you right now is just that one ancient civilization? He said softly. In fact, they only have a superficial appearance that is easy to see. The real target isn't this whole country. Zhang Yi narrowed his eyes. You're saying there's someone behind them? Even dragons have enemies. Bai Longzi neither confirmed nor denied it. At the end of the last era, we once fought against some transcendent top races. That was a game of strategy that was beyond the comprehension of most races in this world. We have won a little, but our enemies still exist and remain powerful. The wind outside the hall suddenly picked up. The faint sound of a dragon's roar could be heard in the distance. Those gazes were never completely taken away. Bai Longzi looked at Zhang Yi. What you did on Star N, the mechanical civilization that spread across the kingdom of Huaxiu, and the new variables that have formed on this vast planet. This has drawn the attention of certain old powers once again. It's inconvenient for them to take direct action. They will choose people who seem reasonable. For example, that ancient civilization race you mentioned. After listening, Zhang Yi calmed down, perhaps because he wasn't surprised that someone was behind him. So, you mean I shouldn't act impulsively? Just play along and maintain the status quo?
No.
Bai Longzi shook his head. Do what you want to do. This path, you chose it yourself. But it would be best if it could occupy the position of reason. Even the superficial harmony between those top civilizations must be maintained. Whoever tears away the surface of reason first will pay the price. He paused, his tone becoming more serious. You can fight back, you can fight, you can even destroy their country. But you must be sure that when everything settles down and you look back at this history, if you stand in the position of an observer, you will think that they were wrong first and you acted later. Even if this kind of fairness seems hypocritical and pretentious to you. But in a higher level of game rules, there is indeed such a thing, and it is absolutely necessary. As long as you grasp this principle, even if you turn this continent upside down, those true chess players will be more cautious when they make their moves. Zhang Yi nodded slowly. To put it bluntly, it's just that we can fight. But you have to make others feel that you are forced into the step. You broke the deadlock and started the war. Bai Longzi smiled. You understand very quickly. I only have one piece of advice for you. But the specific path is for you to walk yourself. The light inside the hall subtly changed. The ancient timekeeping device of the dragon race casts a slowly moving shadow on the dome. Zhang Yi stood up and bowed slightly to Bai Longzi. Thank you for your guidance. Although it sounds a bit like I have to follow the rules while doing big things. But I think I understand. Chapter 2676, The Dragon Clan's Guidance 2. Bai Longzi looked at Zhang Yi, his tone still cold, but with a hint of careful guidance than before. Because of the current Zhang Yi, he no longer sees him as a troublemaker, but as a very obedient and extremely talented junior. Bai Longzi is an exceptionally talented genius, one of the most outstanding in the entire dragon race over thousands of years, so he rarely takes people seriously. But when geniuses meet, they tend to have a greater sense of mutual respect and appreciation. If you just follow the established path, no one will bother to stop you. It's precisely because you might change something that people are watching you. May you ultimately live up to your own wishes. Zhang Yi thanked Bai Longzi for his guidance repeatedly, feeling more at ease. Bai Longzi's words told him that as long as Huaxiu Kingdom could occupy the position of reason, it would have nothing to fear. Even if war breaks out, the dragons will be their strong support. So it seems that civilization and order do exist, but you must have enough power to be qualified to talk about rules. Zhang Yi understood immediately. This seemed to be not much different from Earth before the Ice Age. He bid farewell to Bai Longzi, turned and left the palace, continuing along the floating bridge he had come from. A boundless sea of clouds stretched out before me, with the distant shadow of a dragon appearing and disappearing in the distance. He glanced back at the ancient and tranquil dragon kingdom, his heart filled with endless emotions. Halem was waiting for Zhang Yi outside. He had always been easygoing and disliked being restrained. Therefore, although he possesses talents comparable to those of the White Dragon Prince, he rarely interferes in Dragon Clan affairs. But having witnessed the changes in the Huaxiu Kingdom over the past 600 years, he still has a special feeling for the people of this land. This is like experiencing the fun of raising a character in a sandbox game. Hey, Zhang Yi, what have you guys been talking about? Yuan Jing asked with a smile. Zhang Yi answered truthfully. Regarding the question of war and peace between the Huashu kingdom and those ancient civilizations that are eyeing us covetously. Yuan Jing raised an eyebrow. 1 against 5. That's going to be very tough. Zhang Yi shrugged. I don't want war unless it's absolutely necessary. His eyes flashed. But if anyone tries to destroy my home, to ruin my peaceful and happy life, I will make them pay the price. Slap. Slap. Black Dragon clapped his hands. Good. That's spirited, I like it. The two left the dragon realm. The Black Dragon continued its journey back to Xingjing, while Zhang Yi activated the formless realm to travel back. The familiar air and light of Tenkai come rushing towards me. Someone from Ma came to greet him and report the latest intelligence. Several more diplomatic telegrams from the 5 ancient civilizations have been sent. Zhang Yi took the telegram, flipped through it casually, and a slow smile crept onto his lips. Let's use the word reason to describe it. He silently repeated Bai Longzi's words to himself. Then let's start from now and put on this show properly. Time flies, and 2 years have passed in the blink of an eye. In the grand scheme of the universe's 13.8 billion year timeline, this amount of time is barely a punctuation mark, but for the entire Huashu kingdom, it represents 2 earth-shattering years. Zhang Yi's superpower index quietly climbed to 58,000 points. The number may seem to be only a few thousand more, but those who truly understand what it means no longer concern themselves with the specific numerical value. Because what's even more terrifying than his cold, hard superpower index is the set of cheat codes he possesses. The White Emperor's battle suit has undergone a complete overhaul in the past 2 years. The materials for the armor of the End were welded into the frame of the suit by Liu Karen, hammer by hammer. After countless fine-tuning and repeated testing, it finally formed a monster that resembled both armor and a vessel of divinity. The chaotic myth among the people of Huashu has been wildly embellished in the past 2 years. Some people drew him tearing through the starry sky with a sword, some wrote that he punched through the world tree, and some simply drew him as the ultimate ruler who walked out of the cosmic rift. The creation of a god requires such exaggerated descriptions to strip it of its humanity and transform it into an omnipotent and flawless god. Normally, at this point, one should begin building temples and erecting golden statues, following a civilized path where sincerity brings results. But Zhang Yi nipped all of these problems in the bud. He did not allow anyone to erect a statue for him, nor did he allow the appearance of his official portrait, much less agree to any titles that sounded like Zhang Di Dizhua, a title implying divine authority. Worship is fine. But do not create statues in my likeness. Simply worship my battle suit. He followed the instructions very seriously. Ling had once warned him that the power of faith had many drawbacks and that he should never rely on it. The people from the top civilizations he knew never talked about this thing. Although Zhang Yi didn't understand the underlying principles, he knew how to learn from the strong. The version that circulated among the people became a different one. The White Emperor's battle armor was painted to be radiant, and the armor itself was given the symbolic meaning of protecting Huashu. Countless prayers, beliefs, and gratitude were guided little by little and attached to the battle armor. The power of faith quietly took shape. But what gathers together is not people, but things. When the White Emperor's battle suit is worn by Zhang Yi, the psychic power attached to the suit will resonate with his own special energy field. As long as there are still people in the land of Huashu who firmly believe that the White Emperor's battle armor is invincible, that power of faith will continuously flow in. In his own territory, he could even have a head-on confrontation with someone who had just entered the queen level. Once they leave the Huashu kingdom, the land, the collective will, and the mythological narrative no longer hold sway, and the power of faith will naturally diminish rapidly. But that was like a talisman that could be carried with him, so even in a different place, he could still gain an amazing boost in combat power in a short period of time. Everyone knows that things like this aren't free. Borrowing the fortune of the entire land and the will of the whole nation. Zhang Yi was well aware of this, so he always exercised extreme restraint, never truly revealing his power to the public. Alongside him, the technology and national strength of the entire Huashu kingdom also grew. In the past 2 years, Liu Karen has hardly had any real rest. The engineer's manual left by the Yihan tribe, the technological blueprints of the Sand Raider civilization, each one transformed from a virtual design into a cold and precise physical object. She spends most of her time in laboratories and control rooms, discussing with mechanical life form engineers and calculating the efficiency of each energy stone with the energy department. 2 whole years. The overall national strength of Huashu Kingdom and its technological level were artificially elevated to a height that doesn't seem like this era. Chapter 2677, The 5 Major Clans, Overtures 1. The rapid development of civilization is embodied in the sky and sea. This former seaside town has now been completely transformed into a massive, multi-level metropolis. Above the ground are towering energy towers, floating circular tracks, and silvery white intelligent transportation networks, with lights forming a flowing galaxy at night. The surface is a complex network of underground cities, energy hubs, and bases for mechanical life forms. Among them, what surprised outsiders the most were the thousands of sand sweeper robots. Each one possesses the strength to fight against an epsilon-level inhuman. They are usually buried deep in underground war reserve warehouses and are only awakened for half an hour when necessary routine calculations and maintenance are performed. It consumes too much energy. Liu Karen flipped through stacks of reports, her head spinning. If you really unleash all your firepower, one of the main energy towers in Tianhai will be drained in an hour.
Do you believe that?
Therefore, this 1,000 disaster sites that can fight were listed in the highest level of combat readiness of the Huashu Kingdom. When it comes to a true life-or-death moment, everyone will make them all appear on the ground. In the past 2 years, the relationship between Huashu Kingdom and the surrounding ancient civilizations has been more harmonious than ever before. Sky Clan, Fong Wolf Clan, Titan Clan, Ironclad Clan, Zepin Clan. Those ancient races whose names were once associated with border conflicts and resource disputes now seem to be attending a diplomatic training course all at once. She smiles more often, speaks more gently, and her attitude has become much more sensible. The 2 sides jointly signed a written agreement entitled Southeast Asia Z6 Treaty of Friendship and Mutual Assistance. Judging from the terms, this is a standard defensive and offensive alliance treaty. Mutual assistance and support are required, and if any party suffers an invasion from another party, the other parties must provide assistance within the agreed timeframe. What's even more remarkable is that, to show their sincerity, the race never again crossed the line with the Huashu Kingdom. They even took the initiative to propose trade. A large number of rare resources, ancient documents, and specialty medicinal materials flowed into the Huashu Kingdom through trade. The Sky Clan's Radiant Crystal ore, the Fong Wolf Clan's Gene Potions, the Titan Clan's Super Heavy Metal, the Ironclad Clan's Ancient Mechanical Parts, and the Zepin Clan's abundant artifacts and documents from the ruins of their land. When profits accumulate, they form a thick stack of ledgers that make people's hearts flutter. Gradually, another voice began to emerge within the kingdom of Huashu. Some believe that the animosity between the 2 major races has gradually dissipated, and that the past conflicts were simply historical legacies, and that this is the new era's Gaju, a term referring to the overall situation or landscape. Everyone has it easy. The outside world is so chaotic. Isn't it good for us to stick together and keep warm? The alert level of the border guards has not decreased as shown in the data reports. But for many people, that string in their hearts has quietly loosened a few times. Only a few people knew that Zhang Yi's vigilance towards the great civilization had never diminished. He smiled sincerely when signing the document, raised his glass high during the joint ceremony, and said very little in front of the news cameras. But the recordings of every meeting, the details of every trade treaty, and every small movement in the border region will eventually end up on my desk. He just didn't show that wariness on his face. Meanwhile, wars in other parts of the world never ceased. Territorial disputes, resource grabbing, ownership issues of ancient ruins, new interdimensional rifts. News keeps coming from afar. Some wars are fought with great fanfare, while others seem to be carried out quietly in the shadows. The kingdom of Huaxiu is like a large ship that has temporarily sailed into calm waters. No matter how big the storm is outside, it will only crash onto the ship's side in a short time. Until one day, a secret report from the land of the marshland shattered this superficial tranquility. The sender is the supreme ruler of the land by the river, the god of the heavenly Manhwa. I wish to formally visit Tenkai and meet with Zhang Yi. Meeting people on his own turf posed no psychological pressure for Zhang Yi. Despite his guarded stance, Zhang Yi had ample confidence that he could control the life or death of a white knight-level superhuman the moment they stepped onto this land. But before approving the visit, he made all the necessary preparations. The reception route, security deployment, energy tower readiness level, and even the location of the warship's docking were all meticulously calculated and simulated. A few days later, a warship from the land of Zepin slowly docked at the port of Tenkai. Compared to 2 years ago, Tianhai Port has now been transformed into a giant multi-level terminal. The multi-layered takeoff and landing platform unfolded like flower petals, and the energy shields overlapped in the air to form a soft yet sturdy light curtain, allowing various types of spaceships to take off and land in an orderly manner. The warship's hatch opened, and Amaterasu no Minakanushi walked in. He wore a long, black robe with ancient patterns, a conical hat, and fine lines around his eyes, but he was in excellent spirits and walked with a steady gait. When I first stood before Amain and looked around, a clear look of shock flashed in my eyes. In just 2 short years. He sighed softly. I never imagined that Tianhai would become such a hyper-era city. Before my eyes, skyscrapers stand tall, and the building complex, with energy pipelines as its backbone, rises ever higher. Light rail trains sweep across the sky, and mechanical life forms and humans shuttle among them. And this is only the layer that Tenkai shows to outsiders. Truly powerful technological facilities are mostly hidden behind this city's outer garment. What is revealed is probably only 1/10 of the true level. Concealing one's true abilities and hiding one's shortcomings is Zhang Yi's consistent style. Nobody bothers to display their strength or reveal their true abilities. Nobody's true strength is entirely based on others' imaginations, and nobody makes their opponents underestimate them. Following protocol, Zhang Yi received the heavenly Minamoto no Nakanabu in a multifunctional reception room. The two sides first exchanged pleasantries as is customary, discussing the implementation of the treaty, the state of trade, and their views on the world situation. Everything seemed mild and normal. After the entourage was seen off, only a very small number of personal guards remained in the outer room. Ten no Minakanushi put down the teacup in his hand, his expression becoming much more serious than before. Zhang Yaij. He lowered his voice. What I'm about to say is suitable to be captured by any recording device. Can we temporarily cut off all signals from our surroundings? Including your own surveillance equipment. I have a big secret that I need to tell you in person. Zhang Yi looked at the other person's eyes were sincere, and their tone was heavy, as if they were carrying a burden that had weighed on them for countless years. He glanced at the teacup and smiled faintly. Chapter 2678, The 5 Major Clans Overtures 2. What could possibly warrant a personal visit from the highest ruler of a civilization? That must be an extremely important matter, one that could even affect the very survival of the land by the lake. Such an event would inevitably affect the neighboring state of Huaxiu. Zhang Yi wore a smile on his face, but in his heart, he began to make plans. Sure. As he spoke, he raised his hand. Ripples, almost visible to the naked eye, spread out from your fingertips. The spatial structure of the entire reception room folded slightly in an instant, blocking external signals from being blocked by an invisible membrane. One by one, the communication lights on the smart devices went out. This space is completely isolated, so there is no need to worry about information being stolen. It's okay now. Zhang Yi picked up his teacup and slowly took a sip. You may speak your secret. 10 No Manaka no Kami stared at No for a while, confirming that No was just giving a perfunctory answer. Only then did he slowly open his mouth. This matter is related to the origins of our Zeepin clan. You call us the land of the marshland. But in more ancient times, we had another name, the Rat clan. Pointed to the corner of his eye and cheekbone. Our skeletal structure, sensory system, and group organization are actually inherited from a more ancient prototype. The script we inherited is called Jaman. And in the deepest part of the Jamanmon site, there is a name that has been forgotten by the world, the Star Clan. Zhang Yi didn't say anything, but simply put the teacup back on the table and gently touched the saucer. Star Clan? As you can tell from their name, they are a race that can enter the universe. Races like the Sand Slayers, who explore the universe and ultimately disappear, are definitely a minority. Amanamaki continued speaking. Long ago, there existed a race that was so powerful that it was unimaginable. They once brought Drucker to the brink of extinction. This race is native and spontaneously developed. They are blades cast into this universe by the Creator, weapons specifically designed to deal with the rampant expansion of the Drucker Colossus. Our name is Star Clan. Of course, this name is what we call him, just like you call yourselves the 6th generation. Zhang Yi's eyes narrowed slightly. I've seen this name in some incomplete files. They also knew that it was a branch of the top-tier combat system of the 1st generation of Ark. The god of the heavens, however, seemed to fear the letter, and his tone became increasingly solemn. The Star Clan are content to be weapons in the hands of others. They are trying to break through the limitations imposed on this universe by the Creator. So, at some point, we made a crazy decision. The entire race collectively ventured into the deepest reaches of space, attempting to find a way to escape this universe. We want to go to the place where the Creator can see. Unfortunately, they failed. The reception room was so quiet that only the aroma of tea remained. 10 No Minakata slowly exhaled a breath. This matter was not discovered until much later, in the most secret layer of records of the Jaman Bunko. These records were left by a branch of the Rat that provided logistical support to the Star Clan at that time. That branch was entrusted with a mission by the Star Clan. Before they ventured into the depths of space, they entrusted something to us, including a stone slab. At this point, he reached into his personal device and took out a box protected by multiple seals. The box was opened, and a dark, ancient stone slab was carefully placed on the table. The stone slab has a peculiar texture. It looks like stone, but has a faint metallic luster. The surface is covered with densely packed rope patterns. Each line is extremely fine, and even the signs of use are clearly visible. It took us a long time to decipher most of the contents of this. And the most crucial thing is the string of star coordinates hidden beneath these Jaman characters. The voice of Amanamaki no Kami was lowered even further. Those are the coordinates left behind by the Star Clan before they left. That place is where we began, and it is also where we are destined to return. Every 200 million years, some kind of cosmic tide that we do not yet fully understand will push that relic back into the observable range. And now is the moment when the return window, which occurs once every billion years, reopens. Zhang Yi didn't rush to touch the stone slab. He glanced at Amanomi no Naka no Kami, then fixed his gaze on the densely packed Jaman characters. So, all these years, you've been observing that region of stars? I said calmly. Were we waiting for this moment? For the return of the? Yes. The god of the heavens nodded. Our greatest secret mission over the years has been continuous observation. We confirmed the anomalous periodicity in that area and also verified the accuracy of some Jaman records. Now, the ruins of the Star Clan have indeed reappeared. If we could obtain the legacy left by them, his gaze became intense. Perhaps we can become the new Star Clan. By then, even if the Drucker Titan revives, we will have a true way to fight against it. Zhang Yi gave a half-smile. That sounds tempting. It's so tempting. Finally, he reached out and pressed his hand on the corner of the stone slab. The intelligent module inside the White Emperor's battlesuit immediately activated, and a thin beam of scanning light passed through his fingertips, silently sweeping across the surface of the stone slab. The data scrolls rapidly across the invisible interface of the retina. Compositional analysis, structural scanning, radioactive decay number, time estimation. Soon, a line of data was marked with a estimated age, approximately 1.6 billion years ago. The item is indeed an old one, but it's a fake. With the technology that Zhang Yi currently possesses, even the kingdom of Zipin cannot fake it in front of him. Therefore, such a super civilization of the TH generation truly exists. Zhang Yi tapped the table lightly with his fingers. 1.6 billion years ago. Repeated it in a low voice. At that time, it was the era of the first generation of Yakgund in this galaxy. To suppress the rampant growth of Drucker, the creator created the first generation of Drucker as a weapon, treating an entire era as a war. The first generation of the Drucker family nearly wiped out the entire Drucker family, until finally, for some unknown reason, the war came to an abrupt end. As the cycle of victory and defeat began, the next generation disappeared, and Drucker also fell into a deep slumber. This stone slab was left behind from that era. Zhang Yi's fingertips gently traced the rope pattern. Regardless of where the Star Clan ended up, at least at that time, they were so strong that even Drucker was made to doubt his own abilities. Here ends today's chapter. I hope you liked it. Kindly do also subscribe to my gaming channel. I have to Fina a way to survive. Thanks.
Alright, that's it for today's chapter. Tell me in the comments which part you enjoyed the most. If you love manga style stories, don't forget to like the video and subscribe the Post-apocalyptic Manga. See you in the next chapter with more surprises. Thank you.